Looks like we are live on YouTube. And let's double check that we're live on Kick. And let's see if we're live on Twitch. All right, we're live. Clay, you think we're going to 1 million in 2028? Or you think sooner? I think sooner. I mean, if we get to 200 grand, it's only 5x. It's nothing crazy. Why I think sooner than later is because this capitalist system, everything is kind of coming to an end. Like, if you really look at it, real estate is the cornerstone of the U.S. economy, which is then the global economy. So as long as like real estate prices can go up, they can print money and like maintain the system. But I'm just seeing prices are stagnant. Like in Latin America, prices are going down. And once the real estate crashes, like the stock market could crash or go down 20-30%. It's not the end of the world. Once real estate goes down, the amount of money in the market is so much bigger than stocks because it's like everyone's largest investment. Everyone's all in on real estate. And then once people start losing money, there's so much funny money in real estate with people just flipping, renting, borrowing against it, owning 50 homes, BlackRock buying everything. Once that breaks, the government isn't going to let... Pretty much once it breaks, every bank's bust. And then when the banks don't work, the financial system doesn't work. So what I think is going to happen is when the next crisis hits, there's not going to be enough political willpower to be like, all right, here's $1 trillion to the banks again. So what will happen is the banks that go bankrupt, the FDIC will take over, and the U.S. government will just nationalize it and backstop the banks so that the economy keeps moving. And once they do that, I think Bitcoin's $1 million. Because the banks will be working. You go to the bank, you got $1 million in there, and they'll tell you, oh, you can take 5,000 out a day. Once your money's at the bank, you do not have control of your money. So I think when that crisis hits, is when Bitcoin goes to $1 million, and it's gonna happen really quick. Like, this is a gradual go up. When Bitcoin's going to 1 million, it's going in a panic. So like maybe we go 200-300 grand slowly, and then when this crisis hits, everyone knows this is coming. It's just, musical chairs at this point. And once it hits, Bitcoin double overnight, triple overnight. It could be 24 hours. Because everyone knows the gig's up. Everyone's going to want to get their money out of the old system and into the new system, and the new world reserve currency is going to be Bitcoin, and you're going to have billions and billions of dollars trying to get into Bitcoin. And you're going to see it jack up because there's really not as much liquidity in Bitcoin as you think. A lot of this Bitcoin is on exchanges and people are trading. Once people see Bitcoin just going up crazy, they don't even want to risk it. Everyone's going to withdraw their Bitcoin from exchanges, and all these people are going to be coming to buy it, and there's going to be no Bitcoin for sale. Like if Bitcoin's going up 30% a day, who's going to sell their Bitcoin? And now there's all these new financial products where you can borrow against your Bitcoin. So now, like back in the day, say, oh man, I made $1 million in Bitcoin, you'd have to sell it. Now you made $1 million, you can go borrow against it, keep your Bitcoin, and buy whatever you need to buy. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a race for everybody. Like, everyone's in this race to get Bitcoin. Companies, countries. And it's shocking that not more countries have adopted, but that just shows you the power of the IMF in the United States. Let's take, for example, El Salvador. They made Bitcoin legal tender. I made a trip down there. I met Max Kaiser, who's the president's financial advisor. Bukele reneged on Bitcoin as legal tender. It's not legal tender in El Salvador. They quietly did it, but the country kept on investing in it and, allows all the Bitcoin people to go down there. But they reversed it because I think that the IMF came in and like, hey, if you do this, we'll say you're more financially secure and we'll lend you billions of dollars. At the end of the day, Nayib Bukele is the president of El Salvador and not Bitcoin. And if they're going to give you all this crazy money, he wouldn't have took it. Another country, Central African Republic, they announced they're adopting Bitcoin and then they rescinded. Obviously, they can't even give them loans or whatever. Honestly, if I'm some poor African country, just announce you're going to buy Bitcoin, the IMF and the US and all these countries will freak out. Then they'll come in and be like, hey, we'll give you $2 billion at zero interest if you renege, and just use it as blackmail. 900 trillion in assets around the world. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of money that's going to have to come into Bitcoin. There's also a lot of funny money. Like, all this real estate's just so insane. Right now, like, the prices are high and they haven't come down at all, but the markets are illiquid. Like, in the US, the year over year home sales are down like 30%. And in Latin America, like Panama, Paraguay, nothing moves. Like, all these places, I've seen all these apartments, buildings, houses, they've been for sale for years. No one's coming down there to buy these things, but the prices are still crazy. And until the prices crash, like, no one's going to buy it. I don't know if these people don't have any debt and they can just sit on it. But the markets on all this real estate are illiquid, and you can value all this real estate at 900 trillion, and a year from now it could be worth half that. So, like, real estate's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right? And with zero interest rates and all this money printing, everyone's had to take riskier and riskier bets. So you take all your savings now and you put it in stocks and real estate so you can beat inflation. The problem is stocks and real estate are really not, like, they're risky investments, but because everyone's doing it, because you can't earn any money in your bank account, it goes up. So that's why it's going to be crazy when stocks and real estate go down, is because that's everyone's savings pretty much. Because no one's sitting with a bunch of cash in the bank because you're not earning any money on it. So everyone's savings will go to get crashed, get knocked out of the ballpark when the stock and real estate prices go down, and it's going to be devastating. And then the other half of Americans or foreigners or the rest of the world don't have any savings to begin with. So then there's a crash, you don't have a job, you have no savings. So the government's just going to have to be this welfare state and do all this universal basic income, or we're just going to have global riots. Yeah, people can buy a house with Bitcoin, but why would you do it? Why not, if you had $1 million in Bitcoin, borrow against your Bitcoin, use it as collateral, and then buy it with fiat money, and then, do what you gotta do. Honestly, like, if you're trying to buy real estate right now, you're an idiot. It's the end of like a decade bull market run. When this bubble pops, this real estate's gonna come down like you would not believe. Like, think about what the real estate prices would be after the 2009 Great Financial Recession if there were no bailouts and the banks won't bust and AIG and everyone went under. I mean, real estate would be nothing. Like, it would be back to like when our grandparents bought. My grandparents bought their house in Mission Viejo, Orange County, California for $27,000. If the banks went under and there was no borrowing for real estate, what would real estate prices? Like, go to Argentina, like Buenos Aires, they don't have extreme real estate prices because they have hyperinflation. So the banks don't give you loans. So everything's in cash. So you can get like an apartment in the middle of the city for $100,000, like really good deals, because there's no speculation because you can't borrow against the banks. Essentially, all these banks in the US and Europe, they own all the real estate because everything has a freaking loan on it. Very few people have paid their mortgage. So eventually, everyone's just going to give these houses back to the banks, and there'll be trillions of dollars upside down. And then the government's going to nationalize everything. So, I don't know. That's my rant. Let's see if there's any good news. 500 billion data center boom. Who makes the key components? So, like, essentially, I'm in the data center business. Bitcoin mining facilities, they're data centers just for Bitcoin. But eventually, like, we might expand and do, like, AI data centers and stuff like that. But with Bitcoin, you can plug in and you're instantly making money. Like, if I build an AI center, you have to have a contract with, like, I don't know, Google or someone that's going to use that capacity. So it's not as a easy deal. You got to find people to do it. Everything's going to come down to this energy, right? Like, all this computing, all this stuff takes massive amounts of energy, and it doesn't feel like the world's been expanding our energy infrastructure. Like, we've been closing nuclear power plants instead of increasing. Just kind of interesting that it doesn't feel like we're building out all this energy anywhere. Government crackdown. I remember the first time they went over the debt ceiling, and it was a big deal. And I remember I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh all the time. And he kind of was right, because he was like, hey, once they approve this debt ceiling, it's just going to be a dog and pony show, and they're going to approve every debt ceiling. And that's pretty much what happens, is the debt ceiling comes, they do this dog and pony show, and then each side puts all the stuff they want, and then they threaten, oh, we'll let it shut down, we don't get what they want, and then they all negotiate, and then it goes back, and it's just a never-extending debt bubble. I think they should just do a hard shut-off of the debt ceiling and let the government cannibalize itself and just get rid of everything that's non-essential. There's just so much waste in the government that, like, there's no way, unless you just cap the debt, and you could end something like this. Yeah, I'm actually like really seeing the like in Latin America, I've been looking at the real estate down there, and like I'm starting to see the prices come down. Not like here they're just stagnant. Like the prices are being reduced in Latin America, and it's gonna be nice for the millennials and Gen Z when the real estate eventually crashes. But the problem is I don't think anyone has any money to, even when it crashes, to buy anything. Everyone just spends their money on traveling and vacations and Airbnbs and stuff now. Just think about how much money we spend on Israel. $34 billion backing Israel post October 7th. Like, I didn't vote on that. All my hard-earned money is just going to Ukraine, Israel, everywhere but here. Wow, this is crazy. Only 48% of U.S. adults under the age of 30 have a full-time job. Wow. Jesus. I'm so glad I'm not a young adult looking for a job in this very difficult economic environment. I don't know. I mean, the economy is not great. There's not a lot of jobs, but I think a lot of younger people, they don't want a full-time job. So, like, if you can make money online or whatever, dude, who wants to go to a 9 to 5? So less than half of people under 30 have a full-time job. Yeah, these Remember the tech boom when like Google and Facebook were hiring everyone and it was like unlimited vacations and all this crazy stuff? Through September, big tech companies have laid off 166,000 employees. That ended like during COVID, but these tech companies went on a hiring binge. And like another thing that was happening with them would they would hire and people, even if they didn't need them, to stop their competitors from getting them. Like if they were engineers, or whatever, that's how much money they had. Well, like I was just thinking today, there's so much car debt, subprime loans for cars and stuff in the United States. They'll give you anyone a freaking loan, and there's so much debt with these cars that when the real estate everything bubble pops, all these banks are gonna own like a millions of cars that are, underwater, and then what's gonna happen to all these manufacturers like Ford, GM, um, like they're making all these cars and there's just going to be all these used cars flooding the market everywhere and there's going to be a car apocalypse. I mean, we can talk about these EVs. But I saw a Hummer EV today, but like I don't know how they're like charging and how long they last or anything. I want to buy any like electric car other than like a Tesla. Dude, I forgot I own some Palladium too. See, see if there's anything on Drudge. You can bet that like anything Drudge says just is the opposite is going on in the world. What's this about? ICE is sending people to a prison in Africa's only absolute monarchy? Where's this? Eswatini, the landlocked nation formerly known as Swaziland, is Africa's last remaining absolute monarchy. To the throne at 18 years for 4 decades. Imagine being king at 18. So they're sending people back to this guy? Bro, this like news psyop is just crazy. Trump's dementia behind troop deployment? Like, how can people say like the president has dementia? Like, we literally had a guy, every time he would get on and in and off Air Force One would fall down, couldn't put together 2 sentences, had no business being in there, and was just a puppet. Who knows who was running things? Now we got a guy who's working 7 days a week and, crushing it, and they're saying he's got dementia? Come on. Come on. And it's funny, like, they try to say Trump doesn't work on, like, the one day he goes golfing, and it's like, no one, they stopped even trying to do that bullshit headline. But this is crazy. This guy's gonna go to jail for a long time. This Uber driver that set the Palisades fire, this like affected so many people. The most destructive inferno in Los Angeles history, which charred devastating paths through Pacific Palisades in early January, was a flare-up of a fire that an Uber driver intentionally set days earlier near a popular hiking area. Wow. Oh, here he is. Dude, this guy is cooked. Jonathan Vindernecht was arrested in Florida for allegedly sparking the Palisades fire. Wow. I think like 12 people died. I mean, he's going to get like life. At the base of the trail that signs danger, no fire smoke, Rendenkar walked up a narrow dirt path to an area known as the Hidden Buddha clearing at the top of the hill, a place he had frequently visited before, a former friend told investigators. Side note, I actually know Mark Sanchez a little bit. This is kind of a crazy story. He sliced some driver's face open. It was crazy. UC San Diego cameras that monitor the area first captured signs of the fire at 12:12. Oh, at 12:12 a.m., Rendenhart immediately placed a call to 911, but it did not go through. He tried calling 911. Oh, so he set the thing and then he freaking reported it. And then he got in his car and drove away. Wow. That guy's... Do not start fires in California, man. I mean, gold's absolutely ripping. Gold rally points to eroding faith in central banks worldwide. I mean, gold's at $4,000. I mean, I bought gold at like, I don't know, $1,300, $1,500, silver at $14. I'm making good money, but like, all right, you buy Bitcoin at $300 and it's $125,000. Bitcoin's the fastest horse in a race. Gold's just gonna go up incrementally. Yeah, 4,000. I have a bunch of gold and silver. I like literally forgot about it. And someone's like, gold's 4,000. I was like, oh shit. I plan on holding my gold and silver as like an insurance policy in case I need to barter for it for bullets or something. Barron pitched for top TikTok job. Oh, get out of here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get in my TikTok from here. What's this guy's name?
Guys, we may have just witnessed history.
Why is it fucking saying?
Okay, guys, some pretty insane breaking.
Where is this video of the guy? This is huge. Oh, here it is. Watch this video.
Guys, we may have just witnessed history. Yesterday, 22-year-old inventor Julian Brown ran the first ever muscle car on plastiline. His 110-octane gasoline he converted from plastic waste. As the live stream from Atlanta showed, he turned on the car to demonstrate there was no fuel inside. And sure enough, it didn't start. He then filled the car with a canister of plastiline, pressed the button, and the rest is history. Now, to be clear, Julian Brown didn't invent pyrolysis. Converting plastic to fuel is a well-established process that's been around for decades. But he did invent the world's first solar continuous microwave pyrolysis reactor, which fundamentally changes how expensive and renewable this process is. And he did all of this without the backing of large corporations, and he was able to build this in his own backyard with a bunch of scraps. Now, he says his reason for doing all of this is to send a message to the world that people are no longer going to wait for big corporations or big government to do what needs to be done.
Because this is our world. This is our Earth. And we care and we protect it.
In fact, in May, he even got his plastic diesel scientifically tested, and it passed with flying colors. The lab even went as far to say that Julian's diesel had better emissions than regular diesel.
I thought it was surprisingly well distilled. I thought it was surprisingly clean as well for plastic, and it blew my mind that plastic could be redistilled into diesel.
He says his end goal is to get this in the world and where it needs to be.
Let's get it in the world. Let's get it implemented how it needs to be, because that's the whole point of why I started this. And so that's the strive and the move, without a doubt, to get this where it needs to be.
Guys, we may have just witnessed history. Yep.
Bro, this guy is a short timer. They're gonna disappear this guy. Like, look at all these comments. Wait. Damn, it was nice knowing him. Julian Brown sometime very soon. Generally scared for bro. Protect him at all costs. Oil companies. Oh, yeah. He needs 24/7 security. Political figures watching this. The CIA right now. No, there isn't one comment that doesn't like the global population knows the U.S. oil companies are hiding technology. Like, okay, I've seen this dude too on TikTok, but like I'm always such a skeptic. I'm like, yeah, it's probably bullshit. I mean, now that Dylan Page has reported it and they've actually tested it, but like, I guarantee there's so many forms of energy and stuff that the U.S. or the military is using, but they don't want the general population to know. So say you invent this, either they'll come in and buy you out, or they hire you become work for the military. Remember the one guy, he had the water vehicle, the car that ran on water, and he drove across the country. Then he got poisoned. They'll try to bribe you and bring you on, and then if that doesn't work, they'll kill you. But there was this one Chinese lady that was working on anti-gravity and posting stuff, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. She disappeared, and no one ever heard. All her stuff online was gone, and they finally found the son, and she was like, yeah, she works for the U.S. military now. So, and there was who is that really famous mathematician that does a lot of interviews that's really good. I can't think of his name right now. But he was saying freedom of speech does not exist in the scientific community because one idea, one thought can change the world. Like that, science is so powerful that the U.S. government doesn't allow free speech in that, because what if it's something that can be used against us or whatever? We don't mess around in the science world. Bro, Julian Brown got missing. The government looking at this video. But, like, this is one dude turning plastic into diesel in his backyard with $33,000. How many times has this been done by other people and stuff, and they've just buried everything? Wow. Yeah. Probably because he went ghost. They're probably offering him a bunch of money not to post. But I mean, you know what plastic's one of the biggest pollutants and things we have too much of, and if you turn that back into diesel, I mean, what are they even doing with recycled plastic right now? Like, okay, I'm in the plastics industry a little bit before this. So how it works is they recycle the plastic bottles, everything, they break it down, and then they bring it into pellets, and then they can reuse those pellets. The problem is it's called resin. Like virgin resin is like new plastic, and you can make really high quality products like polypropylene bags and stuff like that. But the recycled plastic, it's not as good of quality. It's like, you can't use it for super high end stuff, so the quality goes down every time you recycle it. But like if you could turn it into freaking diesel, wow. Whoa. Wait, how many people do we even have on the stream? I don't know. I haven't done stream in a while. I'm gonna do. I'm going to go to Panama on my next trip. I'm going to do some in-real life streaming from Panama. I have all these great in-real life experiences that I need to stream. So like while I was in Dubai, I was with Antonio Brown, and I went on his live. So he had a camera guy, but it was like we both had a live stream. I'm like, all right, we'll stream to yours. So that whole thing went streamed to his deal. But next time I go anywhere, I'm just going to hire a camera guy and stream. The problem is you have to have like service and then streaming to both platforms. It's a little tricky. But I'm definitely going to try doing some inner life streaming from Panama and have a good time. But I'm already losing my voice. That's it for the day. I'm just going to try to do like a daily stream and get this thing going. Oh, the Antonio Brown thing was awesome. He's a super good guy. He definitely, like, when the camera's rolling, has like an on, camera persona. But super nice guy. I mean, we made content with him all day. He didn't say no to like one video, a picture, and it was me and another guy just asking constantly, and we made a ton of good content. And also, Antonio Brown's smarter than he looks. A lot of people like think he's dumb. Like I talked to him and he knew a lot of technical stuff with the streaming, all this stuff. He maybe just plays into that, but he's not that dumb. And a super good guy, super friendly, super nice. Had a total fun day with him, and he was a good sport about everything. So hopefully when I go back to Dubai, we'll make some more content with AB. I know he's trying to build up his stream, and he was streaming like daily. But it's so weird because like I mean, he's only got 4.2 thousand followers, and he's streaming a lot right now. Hour 44, 138. Yeah, kind of. I mean, streaming is a whole different beast. And he's got Antonio Brown has 16 million Instagram followers, 2 million on X, and he's literally at 4.2 thousand streams. Because most people aren't into watching streaming, right? It's like a whole different crowd. It's like a young generation. Your best bet would be maybe getting people from like TikTok to come over. But there's just not a lot of people streaming. This is the stream I did with him over here. The first couple minutes there's no audio.
Live stream because everyone cuts your clip up, and you have 1,000 people reposting your stuff, where you can only go so big on your own account. Everyone's going big right now in the streaming, right? It's a different beast. It's hard to do.
That's me.
You know, it's not like Instagram, Twitter, but if you can go big on a live stream, it's the new TikTok. It's gonna be big.
So we drove out there and we were listening to some rap. I didn't know who it was. It was Antonio Brown's unreleased songs. And they're pretty good. And he's so famous. He had all of these like features with like Future, Kodak, like anyone who's anyone music's on his deal because he's, you know, such a big name. He got them to like collab on his like album, but I don't think he's ever released it though. So he was playing it in the car.
But he's pretty bad about it. And do, you know.
Oh, here we go.
Most of the containers you'll see, like other people have, they're locally made. They're like, they buy like a regular container, they put it together. This is like,
The audio is not that good in here.
this is specifically made for lighting, so you're not gonna see a lot of the quality in the UAE. So, how big is it? The 20-foot container. So you can buy a 40-foot or a 20-foot, or you can buy two 20-foot in a 40 container and ship it here. Yeah. So, this is like 0.7 megawatts it consumes. These machines consume a lot of energy. Yeah, you can feel it. It's cooling with the water.
Yeah, like I was primarily on TikTok. And I have almost 400,000 on TikTok, and I have a software that reposts on Instagram. And I used to get 0 views, and I think I was being punished for using the software that reposts it. And then one day they must have changed the policy, and it was like, boom! I started getting millions of views. It was crazy. But I have a lot of good content on here I can clip.
See how much clearer it is? So you can feel like right here, right? So it's full there. And then these machines got their own little fans. They're sucking the hot air out, and the big machines are taking the hot air out. So these machines can make like 10, 15 bucks a day. It's not getting rich quick. When you run a couple hundred machines, it's residual income. It's passive. If I one from my house, tell them how loud it is. You want this in your bedroom? No, you can't do it. You need to mine in the middle of the desert, and you need industrial to keep it cool, you know? This is no joke. So, and then like this is like the control center. So I had this made in China. Yeah, built it in China, shipped it here. Out, industrial fans mine that, taken out. Hey, can you get it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like. I downloaded this whole thing. I need to like put it on my YouTube or something. Well, I mean, my content was going viral in the bear market, so like imagine now with, you know, Bitcoin's gonna be hitting all new all-time highs. Everyone's like interested in learning about Bitcoin now. Yeah, it was a good day. Very fun day. I need to monetize more of this content though, and I need to get some more streams going. I'm gonna try to stream daily and build this up, and then build up my clipping army. But what I'm thinking of doing, like, all right, so on like WAP, you pay people to repost, but like most people aren't good. There's only a few good editors out there. And then obviously if the money stops coming, and then, hey, someone built up an account over the last 6 months that has 100,000 followers, and then I don't pay them, I don't own it. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make all the accounts and then use a third-party software where people can post indirectly into my TikToks and stuff, and then build a whole marketing wing. Because I don't want to post all day. Like, I like making content, but like I don't like posting all day. I want people making edits of me and doing it for marketing, and kind of switching it up. So like I'm rethinking a lot of stuff right now with how I'm gonna reach more people. So we'll see. I'm still like new to the streaming thing. Like, there's still a lot of things, like, technically, like whenever I stream, like when I change the title of the name on here, it doesn't change on freaking Twitch or anywhere. So my on my Instagram or whatever, my WhatsApp, my business WhatsApp's on there, and like I look at it. So just message me on my business WhatsApp. If you go to the link tree that messaged you, there's an Autobot in here in the group message, and it's got my WhatsApp text message in there. You can ask me questions. All right, I gotta go.